Yes, everybody, us on the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. Happy Thursday. It's almost the weekend. Almost the weekend. It's Hammer's Headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. Check out the videos we did today. This morning we spoke about Timmy and the Jets. Timmy and his jet. All aboard the Steinton Airways as he is currently in Brazil, apparently trying to tie up a couple of deals, and one of them being Wesley Saga, who we're going to talk about a little bit in a bit. And then at lunchtime, I did my Rusty Rumour Roundup, the original Rumour Roundup, with a lot of players. We have hit 73 players we have been linked with already, and we haven't even opened the January transfer window. As I said last year, I think we did about 160. So we are well on the way to beating that record. Anyway, let's get cracking. We've got a few bits and bobs to talk about. Let's talk about one player staying potentially, and that is Nathan Trott. And the reason I say potentially is I think there's a lot of similarities between what we're doing with Nathan that we did with Pablo Fornals, basically. According to Rashane Thomas in The Athletic, friend of the channel, hope you're well, Rashane, Nathan Trott has signed a 2-year contract, a new 2-year contract at the London Stadium. He was actually out of contract this summer, as well as Joseph Anang, and he's had a 2-year option in his contract, which has been activated basically by the club. So it's not like we've offered him a new deal. As such, it's been an activation of a new contract. And the reason why they have done this, I think, is to sell him in the summer, in all honesty. So effectively, he's keeping him until 2026 under contract. However, he has been on loan to Danish club VJ Blond Klub since 2022, and it's believed he will not return to the club next season. But what he was looking to do is potentially go out on loan again, or even be sold to a Danish Superliga side. He played pretty much every game for Blond Klub throughout the whole season. Obviously, they were in the second division. They got promoted into the Superliga last year, or this season just gone. And obviously, Nathan stayed there. Blond Klub might come in for him and buy him, that type of thing. I don't think there's going to be. I don't think you're going to see him in a West Ham shirt again, I'll be honest. Maybe in pre-season, potentially. I mean, he was a one-time under England under 20 international. And he had to wait 5 years to make his debut between the sticks against Doncaster Rovers in 2021, where we actually thrashed them. Was it 8-0? I think it was 8-0 off the top of my head. I mean, he's 25. I mean, I think, with the reports that we're in talks now with Wes Voodoo in terms of him becoming our third choice goalkeeper. We've got Heggie, we've got Nathan Trott, Joseph Anang apparently is due to be released. I just think that obviously Trott's too old now to play for the 21s. If we're getting a third place goalkeeper already, there's no space for him. So I think they've activated it in order to sell him. So I imagine you'll be seeing him. But you never know. I mean, he's tied down to 2026 now. If he makes a good impression on J-Lo, maybe while out on loan, we'll see. But I don't think you'll be seeing much of him. But it's interesting to say we've activated that 2-year. Rather than let him go for nothing, we've activated it in a probably attempt to try and sell him on. I said several Superliga sides in Denmark were interested in him. In terms of other people, the Wesley Saga continues. We know that Tim is currently in Brazil trying to tie up or trying to maybe resurrect the Bruno deal. Depends about what journalist you listen to. Fabrizio Romano saying it's all but a done deal. A Brazilian journalist yesterday said the terms of the contract weren't favourable. In fact, it was just slightly more than he's on now, and the contract length was 6 months shorter than he's currently on the Brazilian club. And anyway, Tim's out there now to try and sort it out, maybe bring him back on the jet. As another person he's trying to bring back is Wesley. And according to Fabrizio Romano, it says West Ham will learn of their prospects for signing the Brazilian wonder kid in the coming weeks, with several clubs alert to his situation. He said not only West Ham, but 5 or 6 other clubs are interested in the teenager who scored twice for Corinthians in a recently, basically the Brazilian league's kick-started again, so he's scored twice in already this season. As we know, he's currently out there, but as Fabrizio said in his report today, top talent, attracting lots of interest at the moment, with reports about clubs like West Ham and Liverpool tackling the 19-year-old from Corinthians. My understanding is that West Ham have been scouting for sure, but there are like 5 or 6 other clubs. It's still early, so the next few weeks it will become clear. So we'll see what happens. Clearly, Brazil is a market which we're looking to utilise. I believe because of the fact that we're not in Brexit anymore now, the work permit restrictions are a lot less than they were when we were under European law, so to speak. So being able to find those pearls. And as we know, that we've got a network set up, which we've had set up for the last couple of years under the recently departed Rob Newman. So we'll keep an eye and see what happens there. I'm sure there'll be others. Tim took in another couple of Brazilian games at the week, or since he's been over there, apparently. And whether that's brinkmanship to try and force Bruno's arm, we don't know. To say, you're not the only name in town type thing. They do seem with Brazilian players, particularly the clubs and the players, very much move the goalposts continually. So look, it comes with its challenges, but no doubt there is some absolute fine talent out there. And lastly, let's talk about Steven Bergwijn. Apparently, we're looking back at him. According to the journalist Graham Bailey. Obviously, we missed out on him in January. Apparently, whether that was a David Moyes thing because he blocks it because he didn't want. We don't know. But obviously, we were looking at him, and Ajax will have to offload this summer a lot of their players, having missed out on Champions League qualification this season. Obviously, the financial issues with that. So, someone like obviously we've already got from that sort of club. We've got Edson Alvarez, we've got Mohamed Kudus. So could Bergwijn be that third man? 26-year-old, he's open apparently to move back to the Premier League. And it's understood us, Brighton and Brentford are all understood to be interested in the 26-year-old. Now, whether that's and the thing, people I've seen some comments and people go, oh, but that was a Moyes signing. That was a Moyes, someone who Moyes was interested. No, that was someone Tim was interested in. And Tim presented that to Moyes, and Moyes vetoed it by the sounds of it. So it's not surprising we're reigniting a lot of the players in terms of interest that we were looking at in January, because these were the guys that apparently were presented to David Moyes at the time and were rejected out of hand. So it doesn't surprise me that we're sort of resurrecting a lot of these old links. It's almost like, well, he's not there to say no now. 26, rapid, personal terms aren't going to be likely to be an issue. It's all going to come to the actual final fee. And as I said, by the looks of it, Ajax might have to have a bit of a fire sale, in all honesty, to balance the books based on their failure to get into the Champions League. So we may well be able to pounce on that. I wouldn't mind it. Clearly left wing is an area we're looking to bring in. We were heavily linked with Wilfried Zaha. That's all gone a bit quiet. I mean, Bergwijn's Premier League ready. Yes, you need a balance from guys who are going to, Bergwijn could probably come in and play now. You know what I mean? He knows the setup. He knows the league roughly. He hasn't got any adjustment period where someone like Wesley, for example, would need to adjust physically to the demands of the Premier League. So we shall keep an eye on that as per usual. And as always, we keep an eye on all the rumours, all the gossip, all the rumblings, and we present to you as and when we find out. So keep an eye on the channel. And don't forget to check out neesandmybrand.com as well, because they may even get there before us on their forums. Great ITKs, great banter between fans all over the world, all that good stuff. Take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. Come on, you bloody Irons.